Good morning, Scorpio, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. It's so great to see everybody today. There have been a plethora of messages that came through. I was really kind of feverishly writing to get everything on paper today. I cannot wait to share all of this with you. You know, there's some days where I've got things to say, and there's other days where there's a lot to talk about. This is one of those days where there is a lot to talk about. So you picked a good day to show up, and so much I guess, guidance that's going to really help you get on the right path for next month. So I am honored whenever there's a ton of information that comes through the channel. So there is a bunch here. Let me talk a little bit about what's going on. First of all, my name is Ashbaugh. Really good to see you, whether it's your first time here or your return viewer. I'm glad you chose today to show up. This can be used for Scorpio sun, rising, moon, also for other aspects of your chart like Venus. The way that I work is that I'm a medium, I'm a channeler, and I'm a tarot reader. So what comes through may also be relevant to whoever shows up today. So you're always welcome to come to this channeled portion at the beginning, even if it's not your sign or even if you're not sure of where everything sits in your chart. So I think, like I said, there's so much coming through today that you'll get a message here at the channel portion. So I start with messages from Spirit, and then after that, I move into the Celtic Cross. In the Celtic Cross, I allow it to take whatever form it needs to. So sometimes it's career, sometimes it's love, sometimes it's just personal growth and development. After that, we'll go a little bit deeper and take a look at specific areas, including health, wealth, love, and destiny. And thanks, buddy. And after we do that, we'll go into the soul path, which is a chance to dig deeper at opportunities or potential blocks. And then we meditate. And I pull an extra card at the end to answer any questions that you might have. So that's what's on the agenda. I'm going to put Apollo down here in just a second. I actually got a question about Apollo and why I bring him up at the beginning. There's a couple reasons that are practical. For those of you that have cats or dogs, especially cats, because I think he has a little bit of cat in him spirit-wise. Have you ever noticed how when you're working, they want to like walk over your keyboard or see what you're doing? Apollo likes to see what I'm doing. So I'm literally kind of showing him and signaling to him, I'm going to get to work now. So also he calms me down, and I think he calms you down too. So I have an actual reason that I bring this little cutie pie up at the beginning. So he's not angry, as you can tell. He just likes to hang out and chill, and it calms me down. So that's why I do it, just to answer that question in the comments. So I'm going to let him get back to his naps, and we're going to check in on your messages today. And let's talk. Okay, so I had a really, like, to me, it was almost one of those dreams where you know you've been there. So this to me was a past life flashback, but it came through so that I could bring a dual totem forward for you today, two different animals. I was in the Serengeti. I was in Africa for sure. And I could feel the heat. I could feel the warmth on my skin. And I heard an elephant. And I saw a rhinoceros, and I just felt this sense of, it was really very, very peaceful. And these two animals came through, very kind, not aggressive, just wanted me to remember. The elephant wanted me to hear its whatever that noise is that it makes. I don't know what we call it, but I could hear its call, and I could see the rhinoceros. So we're going to talk about those and talk about why and how they relate to the month of April. All right, so let's bring up a couple pictures, because the elephant especially is one of my favorite animals, but I'm going to start with the rhinoceros. I Googled to make sure. I guess it's like black rhinoceros. There's different regions. They're in Asia. They're in Africa. I think maybe, I don't know about India, but they're definitely in Africa. So it would have been the black rhinoceros that I was seeing. Beautiful. I think we all know what they look like. Really, really big horns on the noses. It's interesting because both animals that I'll be talking about today, oops, we just lost that. Both animals that I was talking about today have that beautiful elongated nose or have tusks that kind of are around this. So we're looking at the nose as part of the symbology, and also just these two beautiful animals. And there's even some images of the two of them hanging out together. So I guess it really does happen in nature. It wasn't just my dream. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Okay, so rhino first. To me, it's got a sort of contradictory energy. And I do a little research before I pop on. I am not a zoologist, but but I do my best to try to understand what nature totems are coming through. So to me, it shows strength, but there's a gentle nature to them. So sometimes they look aggressive, but the looks can be deceiving. And that's one of the things that I was picking up with this. And also the way that their bodies have evolved. That big sort of horn there, the very thick skin, it's almost like scales. To me, it shows sort of like defense or guarding. And so guarding yourself, protecting yourself is good, but don't cut yourself off from something that might be good. Sometimes when we just put all of our blinders up or all the walls up, not only do we protect ourselves from things that we should, and things that could be bad, but we protect ourselves from the good stuff too. And I've done that just as much as you have, I think, from time to time. So this is a reminder to keep an open mind, to listen, and to really sort of sort things out before you come to a conclusion. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Also, suffice it to say that it's an important time for you to come out of hermit phase. If you've been protecting yourself, if you've been doing integration and focusing a little bit on what's going on, this is your time to really now feel more at ease and understand that there's maybe not as much to be fearful or protecting yourself with as much as you have in the past. Listen, like I said before, jumping to some sort of an assumption, you may find that you have, first of all, a new perspective or appreciation for something. You may also have a hidden ally or someone that wants to help you. But if you are constantly blocking that opportunity from coming through, then all of a sudden that just kind of fades away. So I want you to be aware that there might be something really beautiful that's kind of like knocking on the door. And this is your chance to make sure that you don't miss that. Okay. Slow down, be more present. What you're seeking in your life also may be under your nose. We're talking metaphorically speaking, of course, but there could be something in your life where it's sort of like, oh, I've been looking for this or looking for maybe you're trying to find like a breakthrough moment and it's in your life. It's already present. It could be a person, it could be an opportunity. And this is basically just saying, slow down, take stock of what's going on and reevaluate something that maybe you had miscategorized or, I love focusing on a first impression, but sometimes a person can come across at the wrong time or may just not be on their best that day. I think that, there's a difference between just weird timing or cross wires and for certain that you don't want to connect with someone or something. So just go a little deeper and make sure that you got all the information before you sit with a judgment or sit with a feeling about something. And you may find, again, that there's a hidden opportunity, kind of like a Four of Cups moment. It's right there. It's just waiting. You got to look at it again, look a little bit more. It's kind of like if something comes through in the post, in the mail, and it just gets, it's sitting on your counter, but you forget to take a look at it. Or maybe you've been, thinking of texting someone back or something. Make today the day that you clean up your sort of your desk, your head, your sort of energetic space, because when you do that cleaning, you might find something and it's like, sometimes it's a hidden gem. Sometimes it's something that has been eluding you for a while. And it's like, oh, that's where it was, or that's what that's about. So the Rhino was coming through as a sort of contradictory energy of protecting yourself, but maybe protecting yourself too much. And then also that sometimes things aren't what they seem. So someone that, I'm sure you've noticed this with friends. You may think someone's really brash and outspoken, and the more you get to know them, you realize they're a softie and they just have like a loud voice or something, or they speak freely, but they're really, really kind. And sometimes you see someone that you think is amazing, but you see a different side of them after you get to know them. So peel back the onion skin a little bit and get to know what's at the heart of the matter. Okay. Let's move on to the second of the two, since we had both rhino and elephants here. The next one is elephant, which I see as luck and overcoming obstacles, like Lord Ganesh, right? So Ganesha comes through to remind us that we can get through this. We've done it in a past life. We can do it in this life. And even if we haven't, we're going to figure it out. Try again. You're wiser and more prepared to succeed this time. If you messed up, you're in very good company. I know very few people that are able to do everything perfect on the first attempt. So keep pushing, keep trying. It's going to get better. It's going to be easier. At the very least, you're going to be able to have everything together a little bit more. You're supposed to be seen and heard. I heard that elephant loud and clear. So use your voice, speak up, talk about things that are important. Even if someone doesn't address it in the moment, they heard it And just like I remembered it, this dream came to me 2 days ago. But when I woke up, it was almost like my skin was still warm from being in Africa, and I could still hear the elephant in my head. So some dreams for me are not dreams. It's a flashback, or it's a very vivid, lucid vision. And this is something I was supposed to bring through for you. So I jotted it down. You're entering into a much more fertile and productive time. Elephants are a sign of luck and fertility. So if you've been feeling like everything is just sort of stagnating, or you haven't had the luck or the opportunity that you've been looking for, this is really reminding you now to change your perspective on that and start to more aggressively go after what you've been looking for, and also just kind of with a different sort of outlook on it. Because when we start to change our mind, things will start to shift as well. I see we have some people from Africa and South Africa. It's good to see you guys. All right. The next piece that came through with the elephant was, as I was looking at both of these animals, again, the focus is on the nose, even though like the elephant, it actually is like an elongated nose. But with the rhino, it's more of a tusk or some sort of a bone, basically. It says, you have the keen ability to sense or sniff out opportunity, danger, and more. I want you to basically imagine that this is not necessarily your nose per se, but it's sort of like your psychic sense. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If it seems like it's something you should try again or explore, you probably should. So sniff out an opportunity, sniff out the truth, but kind of using all of your senses plus your third eye plus beyond that, because we have a lot of different ways to connect to spirit, basically. I do want you to trust your first impression. It won't lead you astray. I was talking about people, though, sometimes. If you feel, here's the thing, if you feel like you got off on the wrong foot, but your first impression was, I think I like this person, and you want to try again, that's when I would kind of like do it. Like if your heart says this is the right person, but they had a bad day, give it a try again. And if it still doesn't work, then don't force it. One thing that I've also learned with the universe is sometimes it's just the right person at the wrong time, or the right opportunity, but you're not prepared. And that's a synchronicity that opened up, but you weren't aware of it. So we keep opening new kind of like these, gateways of opportunity. It's like a wormhole. So our thoughts will open up a new one. If that didn't work and the universe wants you to go somewhere, keep opening it up. It's okay if you miss, if you make a mistake, if you mess up. We all do it. Breathe. Through meditation, through yoga, take care of also the nose and the sinuses. As I was looking at both of those beautiful animals, I was like, well, make sure that everything's going okay there. Whether it's maybe some of you are suffering with deviated septum, something I used to have, or maybe there's sleep apnea or sinus infection or other sort of issues. In that case, you're going to have to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist for that. But take care of it and do what you need to do, okay? This is so cool, this next one that came through. I saw it on someone's shirt. They were wearing a little badge, and I read it, and I quickly woke up and typed it in my phone before I forgot it. And it said, thoughts are arrows. Where are yours aimed? Where are your thoughts aimed? Amen to this. I'm going to talk about this probably in the collective. This is one of the stickies or the index cards. I'm going to put it on my wall here afterwards, because it's something that I need to remind myself of. So just like those little badges when you go to a conference and it says like, my name is blah, blah, blah. Instead of that, there was a thing there, which was just a little sticker saying, thoughts are arrows, where are yours aimed? How are you feeling today? What are you thinking about? If you're thinking of something that went wrong and you think, oh, I messed up, it's wrong, I'm bad, whatever, then you're actually kind of pointing the arrow in the wrong direction. You're pointing it, you're blaming yourself too much. You're pointing yourself away from opportunity, and you're misdirecting your thoughts of manifestation, and you're bringing on suffering. So forgive yourself and learn from that. I'm actually going to hop over to the final column, and then we'll go backwards here. It says, learn from the past, live in the present, and put it into practice in the present, and then really thrive tomorrow. All right. So whatever happened that upset you, whomever in your life kind of did something that you wish you could have seen through, whatever it happened, now you're going to learn to not repeat that. And I literally had a moment today too, where I was thinking of something. I thought, why did that come through? That's why. And then I thought to myself, okay, let's not repeat that lesson. That wasn't fun. I don't want to do that again. but I still said, thank you, God, for the lesson. I don't want to repeat it in that way again. I've learned it. Okay. And that's a way to release it. So going back to this, because of this, I'm going to use Wildwood today because Wildwood uses bows and arrows. I was thinking, even though I used it once this month, and I usually try not, unless it's a new deck, to repeat it, I thought, okay, we got to go to that deck. Spirit was pointing me towards that. So we'll be using Wildwood today. But and I want to see where the bows and arrows are pointed. That's why I'm using it. Thoughts or arrows, where are yours aimed? And then as a kind of piggyback on that, I want to say aim high, forgive yourself, and keep shooting for the stars. Keep aiming high or even higher than you did before. Don't give up. Don't lose sight. Keep aiming high. All right. And that's going to be key. So sometimes for those of you that are developing your intuitive skills, one thing that's very cool is sometimes you get a word in your head. You don't even hear it, but you wake up with it. So when I saw the elephant and the rhino, it was Serengeti. So I knew that it was Africa. And I felt it too. I felt the warmth on my skin, and I just got in my head like Africa, and I got Serengeti. When I was, the next thing I saw was the moon, and I got the word convection in my head. And I honestly, I don't even know what, I saw like a spiraling, so I thought it's movement, but I don't remember what it is. So I had to Google it. We'll start with this. Convection is a process that allows plates on the earth to move, plate tectonics. It's kind of like where things kind of move in it like a conveyor belt. So with our earth, the center of it, the core, hasn't completely cooled down yet, right? So there's all this kind of like magma, and then we have cooler stuff on the surface. All the plates have cooled down, but because there's all this heat moving, it basically creates this conveyor belt thing where some of the plates then get kind of like folded under, some get moved around. So that's plate tectonics. This sort of liquid metal and liquid kind of magma at the center is moving things around, and the top stuff floats a little bit. The moon has cooled down. I'm kind of a geek with science too. So there's a kind of a theory where there was a collision of a couple of planetoids or whatever. And one of them came in, basically the planet came into the center of the earth and gave us sort of like our iron core. And then some of the mantles went out into space, and that's actually the moon. For a while, it might have actually had some sort of convection where it was moving, but long story short, it's cooled and it's rocky and it's pretty desolate now. But we got this nice liquid iron core that does some cool things, which allows for movements of the plates. It allows also for an electromagnetic field, which protects us from the harmful radiation from the sun. So long story short, it's about movement, and don't stop moving was basically what happened. So I saw an image of the moon, the word convection came into my head, and then my guides whispered, just keep moving, because you don't want to end up like the moon, which is beautiful, which I love. And the moon was kind of talking to me there, but there's not a lot going on, right? There's no life. Well, there's no sort of life that we know that's going on right there. There's not like people, there's not plants, there's not a biosphere and all of that stuff. There may have been at one point, but there's nothing now. So we want to see movement and growth. So use your thoughts to direct this motion, but keep on moving. That's one of the second or third themes that's coming through for this month, right? I already talked about this. Forgive yourself, learn from the past, keep moving and thrive for tomorrow. That's all we can ever do is make a better decision today and make tomorrow even better. Whatever happened, forgive yourself. I feel like that's something that I have to say for some of you. It's hard to forgive others, but you should be able to forgive yourself. Otherwise, you sit and it's just not a good feeling when you're just angry with yourself for doing something, right? You just sit there and you think, oh, oof. It just sits. So take a deep breath, breathe, get out of that. Remember, we saw Ganesha in the form of the elephant too, and it really made that loud sound. So it's like, get out of your head, Nicholas and Scorpio and anyone listening, get out of your head and move forward. All right. Final things. There's only 3 cards left, but the next thing that came through was just the environment itself, because I felt very inspired by those animals. They're both endangered, right? Because of the ivory, which is ridiculous that we're killing animals for tusks. So for some of you, you might get this sense of wanting to become more of an activist or an agent of change. The environment may be different. It might be sort of something that you need to change in your at your workplace or in the place that you're living. But you might feel this call to action, like I can't do this and survive anymore. So this is about your survival and your health and your well-being. When I made a decision a while ago now, it's been 6 or 7 years, to leave my job, there was really just this moment of understanding that it would no longer allow me to grow. And that as long as I was staying there, I was, I just felt like on the inside, I was kind of like drying up, kind of like the moon, like everything was just starting to become desolate. So I thought, okay, I have to move on. This is it. So I spiraled myself onto a new trajectory. And sometimes it's bumpy, sometimes it's awesome, but it's all my own. And that's what's kind of cool with this. So if you're in a moment where you feel like I can't do it anymore, that's okay. That's great. You had an epiphany, you have clarity, and so many people struggle to get that clarity. So embrace the clarity that you have. You create new opportunities with every single thought, with every idea, and every action based on those thoughts. So what are you going to do next? What are you going to do with these new thoughts? How are they going to point you in a new direction? I don't know. It sounds exciting to me. So I think as long as you keep those thoughts aimed in a high direction and keep forgiving yourself and keep moving forward, some really cool stuff is going to happen. So yeah, this is really you plus Cancer also. I've had there was a big energetic push for both signs this month, and I felt it. And I thought, wow, today is going to be an impactful reading. There's a lot that we're going to talk about. So I'm always excited to read. I'm especially excited today because whoever showed up today and whoever's going to see this on replay, you needed to hear some of this stuff. So every single reading is different, and I always look forward to seeing where it takes me. Unlike my old job, I don't really have an expectation when I come in. It's sort of like an adventure. So that's one of the things that I enjoy about this now. So I hope you do too. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down now and start to shuffle the cards here. At this point, I'm going to remain quiet because I need to focus on the messages. But after that, I will regroup with you. A couple notes before I start pulling cards. I'll pull this up real quick. If you'd like to show some support while I'm doing the reading, you can do it through Super Chat. I don't answer questions, but this is a great way to help me continue to buy new cards, which I've been doing. And it also just is a nice exchange energetically. So if you feel inclined to do it, great. There's no pressure. Another way that you can show support is just through liking and subscribing or commenting when this is on replay. Thanks again to my moderators as well for joining. Sun, rising, moon, ascendant, and also anybody may get a message from this as well, but that's for those that are Scorpio. This will help you in those areas. See, we actually had a card volunteer, so I'm going to pull that plus the second one. Thanks so much for the super stickers. I appreciate it. Interesting. All right. Let me just move everything here so you can see it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being patient while I got everything set up. Let's talk about the messages that were coming through. The catalyst this month is a lilac. Let me just read the messages here. It says, first emotions of love. Love is the magician that pulls us out, that pulls out of his own hat. That's interesting. I believe that love is the currency of the universe. Love is the currency and math is the language, right? Math and science, because it kind of, mathematics for sure, everything's kind of governed by math, and love is kind of what we take with us. So first emotions of love. This is where, for those of you that, I've talked about this, if you meet a potential soulmate or someone that you just know that like you really want to get to know them, maybe it's just a friendship, or maybe like on the day of adoption when I got Apollo, he's a rescue. He was really, really shy, but there was just something gentle about him. And I thought, I really like him. He's going to be a great influence. You can tell at the very beginning. So that first impression, the first emotion, and then love is it's basically an alchemic or something that's capable of transforming or transmuting. And so love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. So this is your ability to kind of like pull through something, transform, get out of something. So I like that. The other thing that this, I'm looking at the lilac and I'm just thinking strength to myself too, even though that's not part of it. They are, it is a sort of, we had this growing up in our backyard, and it does make it through the winter and everything. And I just remember looking forward to that every time that it would bloom. It was so fragrant. It was so sweet. So it's kind of like something nice happening after a difficult period. And that's kind of where I'm seeing the strength, perhaps. You get rewarded for waiting, for being patient. All right, let's look at all of the cards now in the spread here. We're going to start with the center. We have the two of arrows here, which basically bows are wands and arrows are swords. And I chose this because of the arrows. And this one is about injustice. If you look really closely at this one, this is probably one of my favorite Two of Swords, because you never see something like this in Two of Swords. The choice for you may be the one that doesn't make sense on paper, but feels really good. We're looking at the two different scales. We see the feather in this one, and then we see all these coins here. Money, title, even just sort of like approval from others, that's not always what's important. It may be what allows you to feel free, to feel lightness, to feel brightness in your life. So the choice actually on a heart level may be simple, but on paper and when you look at it in black and white, it doesn't to other people balance out. So what? The choice is your own, and the choice is what feels right for you. And she's doing exactly what I didn't want all of us to do. She's pointing the arrows towards herself. Excuse me. She needs to point the arrow towards a direction. Two of Swords can basically become just a stagnation card because you get stuck in your own thinking, you misdirect your thoughts, and you internalize too much. So in this particular card, one of the things, as we see on the caption here with injustice, is it's a feeling like I did something wrong, or someone did something wrong to me, or it wasn't fair, or this isn't how it should have been. What if you do what I did this morning, which was I forgave myself for like missing something. And I thought, well, okay, just do it differently next time. Thanks again, God and universe, for showing me that that was something I need to work on. I'll work on it. Don't feel like you have to teach it to me again. So that's all you have to do. Take responsibility and then forgive, and then point your direction right back on path. All right. Find balance in your life. There's a little bit of like Two of Pentacles in this, which is interesting. And do the right thing, because I'm getting justice. I see Two of Pentacles. I see justice, and I hardly see Two of Swords. The swords are actually what you're pointing towards yourself. So forgive yourself and forgive the other person, and look at this as a chance to move on and not repeat. Okay. We have the shaman here, the magician, and we were talking about this card here where it said, love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. So love is the answer. Love yourself. Love what you're doing. Be around people that express love, and try not to get distracted. The only thing that can ever bring the magician off of its powerful energy is sometimes either one, a magician can be pulled in too many directions. So multitasking beyond or saying yes too much, or having basically a lack of focus. So saying yes too much and being spread too thin, or it's like one or two or three different things going and you forget something key. So don't forget something key. Look at what you need to, delegate what you can't deal with, and say no to things that are not a sort of energetic match for you. and it will all be okay. All right. You can do anything you put your mind to. I like that the magician is called the shaman in this particular deck. There's a deep spiritual energy to the magician that sometimes gets lost. For me, magician cards often indicate a natural healer and the ability to also heal yourself and come back from things too. So when you look at a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith as the magician's reaching towards the firmament and also towards the planet, as above, so below, part of that also means that you're a channel, and you can channel divine energy through you. It gets misunderstood sometimes, but that's kind of it. Like, you're that place between heaven and earth, or heaven and the lower dimensions, but you're basically able to be a conduit to bring through new things. So own your power this month. There's a lot you can do with it, and you can point in either direction, point up, but understand like shadow elements, make sure you're grounded. There's a reason that the magician is connected to everything. All right. We have the King of Wands here in the deep past. It's that snake's den that we saw before. But what I like about this is, and what I'm going to pay attention to this time, is that one of the snakes is kind of gone above this. So get out of the trenches, right? Go to higher ground. Take a look at this from a different perspective. Snakes aren't something to be scared of in symbology. They're power symbols. Kundalini, which is your sort of psychic awakening, it starts usually from the base of the spine and goes up. So this is intuitive awakening, and it's also about walking the higher path this month and being able to see above maybe other people who might be more petty or maybe unable or unwilling or incapable of sort of meeting you eye to eye. In that case, it might be better to move up and to move on and to move away from that energy. Overall, I love that you have King of Wands in the past. Really, it's a fantastic card for management, for brainstorming, for being able to bring order to chaos. So if things have been a little bit messy, you would be my go-to person to kind of clean it up this month, right? So there you go. And for the person that said that they're attuned to Reiki, that's great. You can do so many different things with the Magician card. It is the beginning of manifestation. It's the beginning of intuitive awakening, and it's the natural healing card. So Reiki or no Reiki, you actually have an ability to tune into energies. So one thing you want to focus on this month, that's why the rhino and the elephant nose were kind of popping up. You may be able to sense, like if you've ever walked into a room and you don't know what's going on, but you can just feel a heaviness. There was an argument or something. Have you ever noticed that visceral change in energy? Or you're interrupting if two people were kind of like ready to kiss or something, there's romantic tension. Even before the body language comes through, you're like, something's going on here. So there was a fight, there's flirting, there's something. You can pick up on the energy. You can also, when you meet someone, they may smile, but you think, no, there's something going on. They don't like me, or they've had a bad day. So I want you to trust what you're reading beyond the physical, the metaphysical, because that's the magician. It can feel and it can see through illusions. So cool stuff with that. Five of Cups here. I really like this Five of Cups. It's so unusual. So the caption on this one says ecstasy. Typically with the Five of Cups, we see the person mourning. All that they did in this particular deck was show the celebration and the power that happens when you start to focus on what's possible. So, this is pointing towards spirit, towards possibilities. And it's sort of like, yeah, we've been through all of that, but we're going to take these top two or three cups and point them in the right direction. I think usually it's 3 that are spilled and 2 that are upright. So anyway, with this, it's like, why not take every experience and kind of turn it around? And I'm in the center of this. I'm going to be powerful. And she's very shamanistic in this dance as well. So you've got it. If you change your perspective, you change your power and you change the outcome. So change your perspective into this very, very positive, ecstatic Five of Cups versus the usual one where they're looking at stuff on the ground that's been lost. It very much aligns to what I was saying today, which is to learn from the past, but live in the present, celebrate the opportunity, and bring that in and thrive in the future. So she understands the dance of creation. We have Temperance in this, Temperance, it's balance. And we see the 2 sort of opposing serpents here. You could see them as snakes, as serpents, as dragons. It reminds me of the symbol for medicine. Was that Hermes, like the caduceus that he carried? Either way, what I see with this is that there's going to be possibly a power balance that has to happen this month, where both of you, it's not about being better or worse. It's basically about the two of you finding what you want to kind of like, where you're going to draw the line in the sand. Like, I'll take care of this, you take care of this. And also understanding that it's okay to have two strong voices in the room. Now, the other thing that I've noticed here is how intertwined they are. So for some of you, you may want to have a little bit of breathing room, of space. And you might want to look at, is there a codependency, or what is the dependency? Kind of take a look at that and see if it's something that is validating, that is supportive, or if it's something that might be kind of strangling out your ability to be free and grow the way that you need to, right? Okay, we have the stag in this deck, and I wrote a note on the side. This is actually justice. So sometimes the 8th and the 11th card are flipped, and they are in this particular one. So yes, so with justice, it's reversed, but it's beating to it's marching to the beat of its own drum. So because we're looking at a very shamanistic druid type deck here. So I guess what I'm getting out of this as I'm tuning into it is that the subjectivity of right versus wrong is going to be brought to your attention this month. Sometimes there is a subjective piece. There isn't always like an objective black and white, like this is right, this is wrong. Sometimes it's a feeling, and that's really then opinion. And so try to avoid jumping to an opinion and allowing that to sort of be the only reason that you would go down a certain path. Open yourself up to other ways of looking at things. Because as you do that, you may realize that there's more than one way to do this. There's another possibility. So keep an open mind. Don't be quick to judge. And with justice reversed, however, some of you may be needing that sort of necessary space in your life. So the balance that I'm seeing here that isn't really happening on Temperance is that someone in your life has maybe been holding you down, holding you back, or has been kind of there, not allowing you to sort of step into your power. So if that's happening, then this card is usually about separation. So again, it says the stag, but it's justice. And so justice would be a decision. What's right for me? And guess what? We kind of have justice at the center, right? Even though it's the 2 of swords, it's justice. So I would say for you, there's a chance to really figure out like I said, it's not black and white. Each person has to do what's right for them. So follow your heart, let someone else follow their heart, and that may mean a divergence in course. And it could be a different kind of separation. It's not necessarily like, contentious or screaming and shouting, or again, right versus wrong. It's sort of like, oh, we've changed. This doesn't feel like a partnership anymore. So we're now going to part ways and move our own direction. So that's a natural course of action a lot of times. Okay. Let's go into your ego this month, and we have the Empress, or she's the green woman in this deck. I like that. What's cool about green man and green woman is there's this energy of fertility. You would already see that in the Empress, but you especially or doubly see it in the green woman. And we also kind of have this sorcerer or magician type energy as we look here at her cauldron too. So what is it that you're creating this month? What are you putting your time and energy and sort of divine feminine or fertile energy into this month? Because if you really focus on something that you want to see come to fruition, it looks like it will based on what I'm seeing here. If you focus on things that, like I said earlier, haven't been working, and you then kind of manifest this feeling that I don't deserve it or it won't happen, you're also going to be bringing that mirror into your life. So make it a good mirror. When I look at this, it's also kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings and Galadriel when she had the sort of water that she put into that mirror. So it is what your future, your present and your future is what you see it to be. So why not kind of see it as something bigger, brighter, more magical, and you'll bring that into creation if you want to. The Empress card is good for being the boss. It's good for, taking ownership. And also for those of you that are looking to create, whether it's creating something in your life, a project, a business, opening up and manifesting something, calling in a partnership, or if you're looking to start a family, all of these things come through. The Empress card upright, very positive, very auspicious, really nothing negative that I would say here other than careful what you think, right? Which is a common theme throughout this whole reading. We have the Ace of Pentacles, foundation of life here. It says on the caption, card is reversed. So I would say focus on grounding, but Ace of Pentacles is also a very auspicious card. and we can kind of see the pentacles scrawled in on the stone itself. So for some of you, this is an offer. Do you want to receive it? Someone might be interested in dating you. Someone might have a job opportunity for you. There may be someone that pitches an idea. Remember what I said with the rhino, which is sometimes protecting yourself too much. You may miss it. You may miss it because you've got that big horn blocking everything and you can't see around it. So before you say no to the offer or the opportunity, why not just say, hi, thank you for reaching out to me. Let's talk a little bit. What did you have in mind? You'll thank me for doing that extra bit of work later and ask the questions. So just sort it out a little bit, like just do a little bit of homework before you say no to the offer. But if it doesn't feel right, use your nose then for that. If it doesn't feel right, say no. If it doesn't give you equity, especially, say no and revise that contract until it does, or walk away if they won't kind of meet you there. So if you're looking for, so if it's a contract in marriage, this might be something like a prenuptial. If it's a job opportunity, this is looking at making sure that your benefits are what they need to be. And if this is some sort of an agreement between you and another person, this is making sure that you both are getting some sort of balance out of this exchange. So even exchange, and if not, then no. Fight for it, and if the other person won't say yes, then you've actually saved yourself work and you realize that you're worth more. It's also an investment, and this I see the reverse pentacles actually in a positive light. Maybe some readers don't, but depending on where it's at, this is telling me that you may not, this is environment, so it may not be so much about giving, it's about receiving this month. So, and also about investing. So invest in yourself. If there's something that you want to do, training, learning, time off, whatever it is that you need to feel like you can grow, that you can heal, that you can develop, do that for yourself this month. It's a good time. The card is saying it's about you. And we see, again, put yourself into a receiving place, and then we have what you're trying to create here. You're going to be able to put and channel that energy into something very, very positive. So invest in yourself, make sure that you receive what you should, make sure that the exchange is even, make sure that you're both giving and receiving. That's basically what I see with this, okay? Not a bad card if you are looking to get pregnant, by the way. These two together are very auspicious. The Empress and this basically is a baby. So if you get the Ace of Pentacles, so I like that. But for the rest of you, I usually have a little, I have one of my grounding stones here. Just make sure that if you're feeling a little off, that you meditate. You can either get a polished stone like this, or you can go outside and get a rougher sort of stone, a rock, because the cool thing is it may look like a rock on the outside, but you never know what's on the inside. So go pick a stone that you like. It doesn't have to be something polished that costs, hundreds of dollars. Just get something that's really good, and you can always sit there and meditate and just get back into your purpose, right? All right. I really love what we have here with the Two of Wands. It's reversed, but look at all the power in this one. Sometimes there's a passive energy with 2 and 3 of Wands, even though they're very auspicious. This one, there's no passive energy. There's someone that's really ready to receive and feels the potential of what it is that they're trying to create. They feel it and they see it. And you don't necessarily need to have a globe or this crystal ball in front of you in order to have things manifest. All you have to do is really feel it on a heart and soul level, and this person definitely does. Don't lose sight of what you're trying to focus on. The card reverse can say that sometimes there's things that we can see certain things, but not everything. I guess that's one of the fun things in life, is we have to sometimes have things come through, and it's a test of faith, of preparation, all of that stuff. So if you get a surprise, a curveball this month, that doesn't mean that what you're trying to create isn't going to happen. It means that temporarily you have this opportunity to integrate a message or a lesson, or to release something. It's a pattern that you called in. So it might have actually been something that you've created. You created your own distraction because maybe you're afraid of the success. That certainly happens a lot. So don't get in your own way. With the elephant, I didn't put that because I really like it. I think an elephant's auspicious, but they can be, sometimes they get in their own way, or they're a little clumsy or whatever because they're big. But I see them as a force to be reckoned with too. So don't get in your own way, basically. And then finally, we have the 5 of Wands here, empowerment. With the 5 of Wands, what I like here is that he's taking his arrow and he's pointing that. So I think, as always, we should be pointing in the right direction. And even though it's wands, it's still that sort of directional energy. And the caption says empowerment. And I think that that's key. We see beautiful, fertile green hills as well. So sometimes work feels like it's just work. And the Five of Wands can be an exhausting card. This one's reminding you to keep your focus, to keep your direction, and to sometimes just let everybody do their own work. Let everybody kind of be in their own swim lane sometimes. You don't have to worry about what she's doing or what he's doing or what they think. Focus on you and get your job done. And ultimately, this is the missing sort of wand, right? Because we have the Five of Wands and the Two of Wands. But if we were to take this one person here and put him in there, then we would have three wands. So focus on what's possible. Focus on you. All right. Let's now go to the expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'm going to take a quick drink before we do that. For me, health is mind, body, and spirit, and you got a bonus card today. So we'll see how that relates. Let's start with the one that flew out of the deck and landed on the floor here. We have Radha, Soul Flame, rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. So some of you may be at a point in your life where the most important thing you have to focus on is relationships this month. Relationships, because they're mirroring things that are happening in your life as well. For those of you that lost a partner, we rediscover a lost part of yourself. Sometimes we give, I don't want to say too much, but we might give too much to a partner, and whether they're living or they just divorced us or they died or whatever. When someone separates from the union, there's this piece of you sometimes you feel like, but I put so much into that energy. So what Radha is coming through and saying this month is to focus on, there's a breathing technique that I do as a soul release where you can just imagine a circle of light around you, see your partner outside the circle, close your eyes, breathe in the energy that you gave to them, exhale the energy that they gave to you, and balance it out. Keep breathing until you feel a balance between the two of you. And maybe we'll do it today if I remember it, if it makes sense in the meditation. But ultimately, you can always reclaim lost energy because it's not really lost, it was given, and you just have to reclaim it. For some of you, there's a little piece of yourself that you forgot about. Rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. When you do that, you're going to be able to not only feel more whole, but then you're actually going to be pulling in other people who have done that internal integration and feel a lot sort of more balanced as well. So this is important about finding that balance in your life. All right, we have Kuan Yin here saying care and compassion. The card is reversed. Choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved. Offer a helping hand. Some of you are overdoing it. You're either over or underdoing it because the card was reversed. So I mentioned earlier that you might feel the need to be of service. So if you've been fortunate in your life to be on the receiving end and this month you feel like giving, fantastic. This card is saying that this is the time to do that. If you're always giving and you're exhausted, the card is reversed, just like the Ace of Pentacles was, because it's time to receive. Your meditation can be as simple as I'm open to receiving love and abundance in the highest forms and all the highest forms. I kind of revised it from saying love and abundance in all forms. I would say all the highest forms. Go a little higher. Always go a little higher. Surprise me with being able to receive more is what I would usually say to the universe. So what we see here in health, when we kind of take it energetically, one is focusing on, is there something in your life that's missing? Is it because you invested or gave a lot of time and energy to someone else? Is it because you have not developed a part of yourself that you wanted to? Find that missing piece of you and develop it and cherish it. Because when you do, then you're whole and you bring people into your life who have also done the work and they are also complete and whole. And there's then no codependencies, which is what we saw with the balance card. All right. The other piece is evening up the exchange. So, there's no need to give everything away all the time because we can't exist, right? You need sleep, you need food, you need clothes on your back. You need to have a balance. So if you give away everything, you're just going to be tired and you're not going to have, that's not sort of what the universe expects from you. There should be enough abundance so that you can take care of yourself, take care of those that you love, and then give back. So balance it out and don't limit your abundance. Let the universe tell you how much is enough. Just continue to say, thank you, I'm grateful, and then do something great with it. Let's look on a more practical level on what you need to focus on in your body this month. Okay, this is interesting. So for some of you, I just feel like there's too much going on in your head, and you're at a standstill. And it's better to go into your heart space and just follow the heart and do what feels right rather than to do nothing. Surefire way to there's two surefire ways to kind of like to fail. One is to think that you can't do it. If you think you can't do it, then you won't do it, and it won't happen. If you don't do anything, then it won't happen. So inaction or lack of faith are things that you want to avoid. And so the Two of Swords here could just be a decision to make a positive move. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to apply for another job. I'm going to leave this person, since we've got justice reversed as well. Whatever it is that you need to do it. Don't think about it anymore. You've done enough thinking. If you have one more thing to do, just figure out how to make it happen. So it's now no longer a question of if, it's how and when, and that will help you. And if the when is making you freak out, think now. And then just figure out, again, the only time you would make the when later is if you don't have the financial resources to make it happen. Then you might reach out to someone and find a way. So make a decision to start making this work now. And I think that's one thing, the positive change in your life. Let me see what else is here. Okay, with Temperance overall, it is about being patient with yourself, being kind with yourself, and again, finding that balance and harmony in relationships. I had a reading yesterday that was really powerful with someone. When justice comes through reversed, again, we're still going to go to some emotional things here, but you need to feel like you're worth it. Self-worth and trust is going to be so important, because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't trust yourself, it's going to be hard for other people to want to sort of like trust you or invest in you. So you can do this is basically what I see with this. And when you know that, that's good. And then also with this, there's a decision for some of you that might be teetering on like, it could be for like sobriety. It could just be a life change that you need to do. Whatever it is, just choose that higher path and go full force into it, because I feel like the time is now. Most of this actually is emotional and energetic. I'm not picking up on a lot of things here with like literal physical things that you need to focus on. The Balance card and the Two of Swords, watch where you're going. This is an avoidable thing where maybe you're talking on the phone, or you're doing something else and you might trip, or you might miss a red light or something like that. So just pay attention, be focused, be present. Those are the only other things that I'm seeing here. Okay. Let's move along to wealth. We just looked at health. We're going to look at wealth. We have a reversal on this one. It says faraway places, get ready for new horizons. This is very Six of Swords, or even Three of Wands, because you could actually be at the sort of dock. You know, usually you see someone on the hill, they got the three wands around them, and then they're here. So this is like Three of Wands or the Six of Swords. So for some of you, there's a delay in travel or delay in the positive outcome for something that you've been working on. But this is saying it's coming. Change is happening. Change is underway already. With wealth, we're seeing faraway places. Some of you might have this sort of inner desire, or maybe there's an opportunity that presents itself for a move across country or to a different country. Or maybe you're going to take your business and globalize it. Decide to take it on a larger scale and go to, like, again, to different countries, or to go online to do something to reach a more global audience. So what I'm seeing here is expansion, but expansion that might take a little bit of time. So don't give up on it. Just keep pushing and keep looking in different avenues to make this happen. Okay. Other messages for wealth. Like I said, this is a good time. You only got one money card or one resource card. So, and it's good. I like an ace. The ace is really deciding on how you want to use it. So some of you might be tapping into resources that you've built up. Maybe you've been saving for years and you want to launch a business or invest in yourself or go back to school. The reason that this card was reversed is it's saying, I'm going to take this and use it for this. And that's never a bad thing if you've been planning for it. For the rest of you, it's about fighting for equity, because maybe you're not getting paid enough. We've got the Two of Swords here, and you know, maybe you love what you're doing, but it is important to get some payment. And it's not right if you're doing something, or somebody agreed to give you an exchange for your services and it didn't happen. This is saying, you know what? We had an agreement. It's time to pay up. So this is about putting your hand out there and saying, I'm ready to receive, and it's time now to do that. So I like that. We have just basically a card here saying you've got to work with the Five of Wands. So it's okay if you have to, like, work is a necessary piece. So don't give up. Keep your eye on why you're doing it. That's why the Two of Wands came through. There's always a purpose. There's always a place. And this is really about getting into the power of that moment. Okay. So overall, I like what I'm seeing, but it might be time to move. It might be time to move to a new job. It might be time to expand, to go bigger, to try something different. Because again, this is saying what I was doing, not necessarily what I want to be doing forever. I think I'm going to shift this around a little bit. Okay. So I like that overall. And for some of you, there could be an unexpected offer. And what I saw with that offer was I want you to just do the research, ask some questions. It's landed in your lap, but maybe you're too busy and you don't want to miss an opportunity. Maybe you read it really quickly, whatever came through, and you missed it. So this is a chance to kind of really see it for its face value and what it is. Okay. Let's go on to the next piece, which is love. And we have Shakti energy, which I believe is divine feminine energy coming through. We have a lot, and that's nicely connected to the green woman or the Empress here. But this is very, very sort of like root and sexual chakra. This is 1 and 2, and even a little bit of the third chakra, the solar plexus coming in. So oftentimes we neglect that. And this is really saying, go into, do I feel safe? Do I feel grounded? Is this grounded in my purpose? Can I express myself? Do I feel creative? Do I feel passionate about what I'm doing? Do I feel safe to express that passionate side? Again, this can be at work too. Can you speak your mind, or do people like roll their eyes or not listen to you? And then do I have the power to breathe life and energy into what it is that I want to do? All three of these things should happen. You should feel safe, you should feel creative, and you should be able to express these things together. And if not, then it's time to move on. If so, fantastic. You're in a good relationship, whether it's love or professional. This is exactly where you should be. And this, to me, looks like a big Ace of Pentacles or a portal that she's creating. Very sort of magical, very sort of Empress, very much like the Ace of Pentacles. So you can breathe life into something new. Very powerful energy with Shakti. So for you, I would say this is your chance to step into power. And we needed that because I had the lunar image here, and I'm getting very sort of solar plexus, solar energy with this as well. So you're supposed to be stepping into your power in relationships this month. If somebody's holding you back, or if you can't do that, then it's a question of why are you doing it? I always look at the numbers sometimes if they have it on these oracle cards. So for some of you, this may be triggered around either the 19th of this month when you're watching it live, or next month. If you're watching it in March, that's really close to the equinox. So for some of you, it's about this sort of shift in energetic season that we're having soon here, rather. And for the rest of you, this could be something that pops up a month from now. Either way, it's good. Divine feminine energy, whether you identify as male or female, it doesn't matter. It basically is the ability to breathe life into something. And I like that we have kind of like almost like a dragon type energy with this divine feminine. So there we go. Someone has a question. You can watch this for your sun sign, your rising, or your moon. You can also watch it for your Venus. And rising and ascendant are the same. So I don't know what the question is, but that's it. And as I said earlier, a lot of these messages may resonate. Don't get so focused in all of that. Listen to the messages and see how it resonates for you. You can sometimes get too in the weeds of where it's at in your chart. The way that I work is not that specific. It's more, I am a medium and a channel, and I'm showing up today for Scorpio if it's in your chart. I'm also showing up for you if you showed up for me. So chill out on the questions of where it is, wherever it's at. I'm here for you. The messages are here for you. You came for a reason. Enjoy the reading. And that's true. I get a lot of questions about that. And sometimes it's like, don't focus so much. You came here today. There's some great messages, and I hope it resonates. We have the Mirror Guardian here. Actually, I want to do one more thing. I got distracted. When it comes to relationships, speaking of the mirror, you are attracting the mirror here with the Two of Wands. So for those of you that are trying to manifest something, maybe a new relationship in your life, maybe you are trying to create something else, remember that how you have worked on yourself and what you have internally, this is what's going to pull in that external force. So the higher you go energetically and frequency-wise, the better that person or opportunity is going to look. So that's why we've got really 3 powerful cards here in a row here. So this is you. This is what's going on around you, and you're saying, I'm ready to receive and I'm ready to invest in myself, and I'm not going to lose sight of what I'm trying to do. So I would really love to see this one. I'm okay with being reversed, but I'd love you to try and get the 2 of Wands in an upright position. So don't lose sight of that. And as long as you keep working on yourself, invest in yourself, keep working with the Empress and the Ace card here, then all of a sudden you're going to be pulling in a really fantastic opportunity. So the partnership depends upon you. It always does. That's the reason. That's the number one reason that I wouldn't spend, an hour talking about your person. You need to focus on you, and you'll be pulling them in. I think for some of you, you need to kind of step away from an old relationship first. This doesn't have to be an ex. This could be a parent. It could be a friend. There could be something in your life that's holding you back a little bit. And for you, this would be the one that's not allowing you to grow. So some other relationship in your life could be creating imbalance between you and perhaps a divine partner or a love relationship. And what this is really about is reclaiming or kind of like saying, this is my time, this is my energy. And we'll do that maybe in the meditation, like I said, but walking away or fighting for the balance that isn't there, super important. Didn't necessarily get a single person that came through here. Justice can be a Libra. And the green, the Empress can also just be a really strong partnership here. If it is a Libra, the fact that we got Justice reversed, this would be someone that is very outspoken, kind of like King or Queen of Swords reversed. But I would say, look at whether you are trying to fix them or whether they're trying to fix you, because when the scales are reversed, sometimes there's this feeling of that kind of personality. It's a little bit codependent. It's sort of like they're looking for someone that needs to be fixed or that will fix them. So see yourself as complete. You're not a puzzle piece. You're the jigsaw puzzle completely assembled. Sorry. And then as you see that assembly completely being together, I think everything's going to make sense. Okay. And you're going to pull in that higher energy. Finally, and this kind of now all works in tandem here, we have Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect on what your goals are, on how you've created all these wonderful opportunities that are in the future for you and in the present for you. Also, why you called in all of the lessons from the past. And looking again, I talked about Galadriel, kind of looking into her magic mirror. What you see is what you can also create. And sometimes when you see something, you get a chance to change it. That's the cool thing with clairvoyance. It isn't set in stone. We wouldn't show up here otherwise, right? So when you get a vision, you get to decide, do I like that path? This is your destiny card, and it's actually saying you get to choose your own destiny. And you've been mirroring all of the work that you've been doing all along, right? So there you go, some cool stuff for you. Let's quickly review this, and then we're going to go much deeper. So stick around. The next piece I'm going to look at, I want to go a little deeper after this when we go into the soul path. I want to look at Justice reverse. I want to see what it is that's requiring a recalibration or balance. And then we'll look maybe a little bit more at relationships, since I didn't get a lot. And then we'll do a wild card. Okay. So let's quickly review messages. If you just joined, perfect timing. I'm going to go through everything that I talked about in like 2 or 3 minutes. So we'll be quick here, but it's important to recalibrate before we go into the soul path. So your sign is super special this month because you got a dual totem. And I think after doing this for several years, that's never really happened to me. So I couldn't decide because I saw them both. I saw the rhino, I heard the elephant. I was in the Serengeti as I was dreaming. And I thought, all right, we're going to talk about both. The rhino to me represents strength, but can also be misunderstood. It's gentle and it looks really rough around the edges, but unless it's kind of, unless someone goes in and tries to bother it, it's not really a violent animal. So there's this sort of, sometimes you could misread someone. So there's an encouragement to sort of like really get to know someone before you make all your decisions. And then also when we're talking about the guarded nature, there's a message here about protecting yourself. There's always a time and a place, but you can sometimes go too far in how long or how much you protect yourself. So open yourself up to the good. Don't block out the good. You'll be able to sort out what's good and what's bad. It's time to come out of the Hermit phase. This is really a time for you to go into development and to embark on new things. That's why we have the green woman or the Empress there. Listen before jumping to an assumption. You may find a hidden insight or a hidden ally. I agree. and slow down and be more present. What you seek might actually be right in front of your eyes or right under your nose, but you're looking at it from a different perspective. The elephant is coming through right now to help you see that you're going to be able to overcome obstacles in your path, and even if there's something that didn't work out before, this is saying try again. You are older, you are wiser, you're more experienced, you're more ready to succeed this time around. I heard the elephant loud and clear, so you are meant to be heard and to be seen. Speak up, speak out. You're entering into a much more fertile and positive, productive period right now. Sometimes it just feels like work. That's what we have the Five of Wands here for, but you're going to be able to push through that. You have the keen ability to sense if something is worth your time, if it's dangerous. So listen to that. Trust that impression. And if your impression is that you should give someone a second chance, trust that as well, because it's probably spot on. All these animals with big noses are telling us to breathe, to focus on really taking in the moment. Breathe in the opportunity, breathe in gratitude, and then also focus on your nose and sinuses. If they need any help, go to an ENT and your nose and throat doctor. My favorite channeled message I think that I've received is thoughts are arrows. Where are yours aimed, or where are yours pointed at the moment? I am encouraging you to aim high, to forgive yourself, and to keep on shooting for the stars. When you start to aim high, things will surprise you sometimes. If you aim low, then you're never really going to surpass your expectations. I was guided to look up in convection, which is part of plate tectonics, which really just at its core is about movement. I saw the moon, which isn't really moving that much anymore. It's kind of a dead space for the most part. And I was guided to keep moving in my life. We aren't ready to kind of go into that lunar phase right now. It's time to keep moving. We're very much alive on this planet and in your lifetime as well. Use your thoughts to direct the motion, but keep on moving. I'm going to repeat it many times, so hopefully it sits in your head. Learn from the past, put that to practice in the present, thrive in the future. Some of you are going to be inspired to speak up and be an activist, to be an agent of change. It might be about your environment. No matter what, you're creating new opportunities with each and every thought, with each and every action related to those thoughts. So think highly and take action on those thoughts. We have this beautiful lilac, which looks delicate, but it can winter. It can get through a hard winter, and it's this beautiful sort of like, to me, it's a beacon of spring and summer, and I really love the scent of it. So for me, I see strength and I see reward as a piece of this. The other thing here is the reminder that love is magical. It says love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. So for many of us, there's an alchemic energy that's coming through, and it's cool because the magician was crossing all of this. So if we look at the magician and what it's touching this feeling of injustice. Love yourself, love the other person, and see past this feeling like some of you are just stuck in a moment. So the magician's coming through and saying, love yourself enough to see the other possibilities and step into it. The magician's touching this injustice also here, like justice reverse. It's so interesting. We have them right by each other. Flip the scales and do something right. Make it right if it's not right. Speak up, fight for it, open a new channel, open a path, but do decide to make a decision and to equal out the sort of reciprocal energy of exchange. The magician tells me you can do that. And it tells me that you can choose a path of being ecstatic. We have ecstasy here. Not choosing to get upset or angry or feeling like you've lost, instead to focus on how you can create. And that's the lesson that many of you have integrated here when we look at the King of Wands here, going the higher path, getting away from this sort of snake pit where everyone is in each other's business. And to that end, there is this sort of decoupling or sort of detangling of energy for some of you, where you need to have your own space, your own time, and making sure that you can breathe as well. This is normally temperance, but it says balance here. Are you sensing a theme like balance, balance, balance? Because justice and then the scales here and this Two of Swords and now balance there. So definitely important. Saying no, saying goodbye, walking away, severing a contract. It's time for some of you to make that move. Maybe even breaking a lease. There's something here where it's going against what the original contract or agreement was. Now, if someone's trying to do that to you, you need to make sure that you get what you need out of that before they walk away. The rest of you, it's a decision that I want something. Knowing what you don't want is just as powerful as knowing what you want. And maybe you've decided no more of this, but definitely this. So maybe you've just got a moment of clarity that's come in, and I'm happy if that's the case for you. All right, we have Green woman here, the Empress, take control, invest in yourself, get ready to receive, keep a vision on what it is that you're trying to create, know that you can and will do it. The Five of Wands can sometimes be a tricky card because unlike this, we lose our focus. We don't aim. We're kind of instead focusing on all this stuff that's on the side. So don't get sidetracked with this, basically, is what I'm seeing. And then as we take a look at your expanded forecast, when we look at health, the first thing here is about reclaiming lost pieces of yourself. That's what Radha is telling us. This could be symbolic. It could be also very kind of descriptive of a relationship that you were in, etc. So she's basically saying, come back, come to yourself, find yourself. And this one is about making sure that that balance is happening. Care and compassion, be caring, compassionate towards yourself. And also make sure that when it says offer a helping hand, make sure that you're also able to receive the helping hand. And that's why she was reversed. There is a little bit of a delay when we're looking at work here, faraway places. Some of you have just disconnected, obviously, because maybe you've been away from the job for a while. Some of you are looking to move, but the timing may be off a little bit, but it looks like it might be coming through sooner than later. So this is just showing you to keep your eye on the horizon. And just like we can see with this Five of Wands card, always keep an eye on what you're trying to do. Keep that arrow pointed. The other thing with wealth, if there's something that's wrong and you need to speak up, do it. The Justice card is about fighting for equality, justice, and for things that should be changing. So I mentioned the advocacy. Some of you are going to be the voice of reason. So whether it's ageism or some other ism that's happening, this is your chance to stand up and make it happen, make something right. If you're trying to manifest, keep on working. The Five of Wands is saying don't give up, but the Two of Wands is saying you might be closer to the goal than you feel like with the Five of Wands, because sometimes this just feels like you're in the weeds. But this is saying, no, you've got this. So don't lose track of what you're doing, and maybe you got to do it yourself. Maybe this is something where either you're ready to step up in a position of power or you're ready to do something on your own. Divine feminine energy when it comes to relationships here with Shakti. You should feel safe. You should feel secure and passionate and able to communicate all of that. And with the Mirror Guardian, this is really reminding you that you have the capacity to call in whatever you're trying to make in your life. Everything that we see is actually a mirror of either a positive opinion that we have of ourselves or a negative opinion. So aim that arrow higher, think higher, and you'll start to pull in people that are in that higher resonance as well. All right, let's go into the soul path. And I'm reminding myself justice and then relationships and then wild card. Okay. I didn't write it down, but I remembered. So let's see what the balance is. I'm really curious about, because we got two cards with the justice, injustice, and then this sort of magical shaman. How can you make something work? Okay. So we have the Guardian here. And in this particular deck, I'm just checking it. It is the Devil. So with the Devil, the Devil can seem scary, but it isn't really as bad as it seems. Sometimes we just have to pass through a shadow. So now I understand what I was seeing in the dreams last night. There was one other thing that I saw that I didn't talk about because I couldn't figure out the symbolism, but now it makes sense. So I saw something pass through your life, kind of like it was just coming through the living room. And it was quick and it was transient and it didn't stick around. So for some of you, there's a moment, there's going to be something that pops up where this is it. This is the last time you have to deal with it. So the good news here is this is an unshackling. So when we have the Devil reversed, it's time to let go. So if you're willing to really just feel like I'm going to fight this fight, I'm going to get through this, or I'm ready to let go of this. So this could be an addiction, a toxic relationship, a feeling that you don't like anymore. This is the time to say with justice reverse, enough is enough is enough. I'm going to move on. And that's all that's blocking you. Because if we were to look past this skeletal figure, you could just throw a rock at this and it would fall apart. It's not as scary as it seems. It's blocking a portal. It's blocking a doorway. So don't get in the way of yourself. Don't let someone else get in the way of what you're trying to do. And once you get past this little obstacle in front of you, which is really more of a shadow than anything. So here we see bones. I saw a shadow. And when I was seeing it, it wasn't really scaring me. I thought, what is that? It was less of like, oh, it was more just sort of like, now, what's that about? So just don't let that distraction get in the way. You are going to get through this. You might surprise yourself with being able to turn opinion toward you as well. So if you're in a place where something was done and it was incorrect, you might be able to receive justice. But either way, you're not going to let them get away with it. You're at least going to fight for whatever it is, and you're also going to diminish the shadow. For some of us, if it's a shadow energy in our life, the shadow could be fear, doubt, or feeling like I can't get it, I don't deserve it, it won't happen. So you're going to release that shadow instead. The devil can be in your thoughts. So you're going to release the sort of anchor-like energy that happens with that. Either way, I'm so happy that it's coming through reversed, which is basically like enough is enough. This is probably the least scary devil I've ever seen in a tarot card. It's just a bunch of bones. I imagine in my head that I could just kind of like touch it and the bones would fall away. It's just meant like a scarecrow to scare you. So don't be afraid. Release the fear. Okay? Let's look at love, because I didn't get a lot about it and I was kind of curious. So let's look a little bit more at love and relationships. Six of Wands, abundance. Love it. It's almost like the dinner table's been set up, but no one's there yet. So are you ready to receive the abundance? Are you ready to go there? One thing that I do like when I see a lonely Six of Wands card is that it's always about the personal development. It's not necessarily about public adulation, about people applauding you and being happy with what you're doing. If you really feel something, really feel good about it, and really are on the right path, all those people are going to show up anyway. So to me, what I'm seeing with the Six of Wands as I go a little deeper into the symbology is that you're setting up the table for success. You know that people will show up. So figuratively speaking, that means that you're doing all the right things at all the right times, and you're going to achieve the success. So don't doubt yourself. Don't worry. Just keep showing up. Keep working. Five of Wands leads to the Six of Wands. So keep pointing the arrow towards this so that you can reap the rewards of the work. So work hard, and then good things will come of that work. Okay? Let's move along now to the wild card, and then we'll do one at the end. At the end, I'll kind of like, you'll send me a question in thoughts, and then I will read it. But right now, we're going to just do a wild card just for general advice, and then we'll meditate, and then we'll do that last one after the meditation. The Wheel of Fortune. Love it. I also like that this wheel is very much something that you would create. So it's kind of like weaving, right? I don't know if that's called a loom or whatever, but it's basically you're weaving this, you're creating it, you're knitting it together. So keep on doing that great work. The Wheel of Fortune, much like the World card, can take time. The wheel takes a lot less time than the world, depending on how it falls in the outcome. But the wheel tells me it's already happening. You're on the wheel right now, literally. Movement's happening. For some of you, you could see it happening as soon as October. It could also be 10 to 12 months from now. You're on a new cycle. The cycle has already started, probably started at the beginning of this year. So now what are you going to do with it? If you start to value yourself, if you start to have faith and hope about the future, if you start to invest in people, relationships, and opportunities that are reciprocating, then the wheel becomes kind of like self-perpetuating. The other thing with this one is there really could be a new opportunity on the horizon here in the environment, because the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune tells me there's a chance to really make a big splash, right? So definitely make sure that you're doing your due diligence and getting back to people. So if you've been looking for work and there's a bunch of emails that are logged up and you haven't been sort of answering them, make sure that you're doing that. If you have people that have been reaching out to you and they want to talk, maybe there's something there that could segue into something different. I see an opportunity kind of hidden under your nose, and it's popping up here again. So take a look at that. I think it's going to be really beneficial for you. But we're looking at positive change. This is really nice to see for like the year ahead. This isn't just for this month, but it's kind of a flash forward to what the next quarter of the year might look like. Because a lot of us have been struggling. It's been difficult with the pandemic, especially those of you that work in restaurants or who are maybe like a substitute teacher, things like that. There's a lot of people I know that in varying different degrees of employment or underemployment, this is a chance to get back. But one thing that I want to remind you of, and I'm trying to remember if I think, yeah, it was the Little Prince deck. I think it was the Six of Wands too. The Six of Wands in that deck, I think it has a toolbox in it. If I can pull it up while we're talking, I will. But the message while I'm trying to find that is basically that you have what it takes, even if you have to rearrange those tools into something else. So I always remind us to, yeah, I was right. Okay. So here we go. Six of Wands. Let me just hold it up here this way so you can see it. Notice how in this Six of Wands, he has his tool chest here and he's thinking of like, what can I do next? How can I reuse some of these things? One of the things that the pandemic has encouraged us to do is to reevaluate who we are. We're not in a little box. You're not just one thing. You are many, many things. So how could you repackage that? My undergraduate was journalism. So I ask questions to the cards, I ask questions to the guides, and I report to you. I'm a reporter, but I'm a metaphysical reporter. And that wasn't a job description when I was a kid, but I kind of found it. So I'm using that skill. And then I learned video production and filmmaking as my second degree. So I put it all together, but not the way I thought. I thought I'd be working for like a TV or movie company. Instead, I'm here with you guys and we're working on ourselves and we're getting in that toolbox. So I went into the toolbox and I keep doing it. I've had 2 or 3 different career changes over my lifetime. And when I hear people say, oh my gosh, I'm 40, oh my God, I'm 60, I'm 80, you're never too old to change your perspective or go back in and repackage the skill set. You don't have to go back to school unless you want to. You could just look at projecting them out a different way. And I was coaching someone the other day that didn't want to do the work of maybe like going into their resume or sending out a job notice. I'm like, well, you have to meet the person halfway. So repackage your skills, meet the opportunity halfway, and then see what happens, okay? Let's meditate. Before I meditate, I want you to think to yourself of another question in your life that I didn't maybe touch upon. I will pull an extra card at the end. Before we get into the meditation or that question, I want to say thank you to everyone that showed up today. And if you have a chance, especially before we meditate, could you please click subscribe? It makes a big difference. And then the like button. If you happen to be watching this on replay and you like what you see, say something nice in the comments. It's not so much for me, it's for the other people out there because this will help them discover it. Engagement in the YouTube world is discovery, and it helps my channel reach more people. And I show up here so I can help you guys. As fun as it is, I really want to get the word out. So that is easy, and it helps you, and it helps me, and it helps others. If you want to do a little extra and you like what you see, you can do this. No pressure. This is really just about giving and receiving, and it's a love donation if you like to. I pinned a link to my website, so there's lots of different ways to get in touch with me. The join button is another way to do that. You can do PayPal from my website. On replay, you can click the applaud button next to the thumb up and thumb down button. And finally, on social media, you can join me. And I'm on most media platforms. I'm at Nicholas Ashbaugh. I'll use stories wherever they exist. I also use the fleets sometimes here, and definitely the tweets on Twitter. But on Twitter, I'm at an Ashbaugh. Everywhere else, I'm at Nicholas Ashbaugh. So with those little service messages out of the way, let's get into the meditation. And I'm reminding myself, one of the things we're going to do is reclaim energy. And I want to do this in the daytime. I think it's really important to have a nice, because I'm looking at the shot key card here. So I want to see a rising sun. Looking at all the colors here, it's like this brilliant orange and yellow and white and all of these sort of bright colors, but that we would also see with the lower chakras, especially red, orange, and yellow. So imagine that you are outside at the beach, beautiful sunny day, and it's the midpoint of the day. So the sand is warm, the sky is clear, the air is comfortable but warm as well. As you are close to the water, you feel this sort of nice breeze as you get a little closer to the ocean. And I want you to find a place where you can sit with your legs crossed in the sand. I think it's important to touch the earth. So just imagine that it's a little cooler space. The sand isn't so hot that you can't sit on it. It's kind of like a warm blanket. And when you come back to bed after maybe getting a drink or something in the middle of the night, it's like, oh, that's warm. So imagine that you're kind of sitting in the sand or laying back in the sand, and it's like a nice warm blanket. And as you, let's lay back in the sand. I like that. As you lay down, you feel support on your back, on your neck, every part of your body. It's kind of like light as a feather in this moment. Closing your eyes, just reach your arms out and receive the solar energy. If you want to, I'm getting the image in my head, you could just imagine that you're making like a sand angel instead of a snow angel. So you could move your arms a little bit, you could move your legs and create this angelic silhouette around your body. And then as the sunlight pours down on your body, you see the outline light up. And we all have that connection to the divine, but now you're just seeing your own wings, you're seeing your divine self. Really allow for the lower 3 chakras to light up. See that bright red in the core, in the root chakra, and connect to the earth beneath you as you're laying on the sand. Feel the support, feel the heat, feel the love from the planet itself. Connect your heart to the heart of the planet, the molten energy that we were talking about that's going to be important to help you with the convection, with the movement in your life. So I want you in this moment to just imagine that you have that color. The red is going to move all the way through you, from the root to the top of your head, to the tips of your fingers. And you're just like that iron core at the center of the planet. You can move your liquid light, liquid metal, liquid movement in general. And then see the colors start to, we're gonna add each color into this. You're gonna see now the beautiful orange. So red, now orange, as you connect with your passion. Think of things that you wanna create, move it into your solar plexus and see the yellow. You're gonna find a way to bring it into, breathe life into it, breathe it into fruition. Pull it through the green energy of the heart and through the blue energy of the throat, taking all of these things, the security, the passion, the power and the security in yourself, and then even just the love, being able to sort of love who you are and love what you're doing, and feel the throat open up. Beautiful blue energy wrapping around your throat. And then as you close your eyes and just allow now for the beautiful colors of violet and indigo to light up as you're going through the third eye and the 7th chakra. See all of these now coming together in white, because I believe if you add all of the colors together, they become white. It's different in print, but with light, when you mix them, I think they all just go to white. So see now this beautiful, bright, bluish white energy kind of occupying this angelic outline that you created. And for the meditation, your body can stay on the planet, but imagine now that the light version of yourself actually is the angel, and it can kind of take flight a little bit. So take a nice little trip. You can always go back to your body when you're ready. And in the meantime, just get some perspective on your life. See what it is that you want to do. Try to figure out what's next and use this angelic form to lead the way, to create a map, write it down, or talk to yourself as you're laying on the planet. And then we'll come back into the body, and then I'll read one more card and we'll wrap it up. All right, so take a deep breath, close your eyes, and allow yourself to float a little bit and to see something beautiful. Just like the mirror guardian, you're gazing into the sort of cosmic possibilities. I want you to keep that feeling of being light as a feather. See yourself floating on these angelic wings towards your body, but take a moment before you re-enter your body and remember who you are, what your purpose is, and what you're trying to do. And I want you to keep that and honor that and allow that to be that central thing that you're focusing on for the months and years ahead of your life. You always have a chance with each thought to create. So be ready to receive abundance in all the highest forms, abundance and love in the highest forms. As you take this next breath, imagine that your energy is incorporating with your body. You're snapping back into this sort of physical grid. Rub your hands together to connect with the heat, the light, the power, the divine energy, which we've reconnected with here. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that, and make a promise to yourself that you're going to see this dream, see this hope to its fruition. And let's look at one more card before we wrap things up. For this card, I want you to, as you're kind of coming back to reality here, think of something that you need help with. You don't type it out, just think it. I'm gonna shuffle the cards and I'm gonna give you some general advice on how you can make it work, how you can manifest. All right, highest guidance, how can everybody that's watching this get into path of success? All right, we have, interesting, 7 of Cups here. Okay, I really like the 7 of Cups. I also love, the deck that I'm using is Wildwood. It's really fantastic. But this is the only 7 of Cups that uses the word mourning with it. And sometimes we can get stuck on something that we didn't get to do. So 7 of Cups is fantastic. Normally you would see someone dreaming of possibilities. You see like a castle, a dragon, all these things in the sky that they can look at in a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But in this one, what's dominating it? The lost opportunity, the thing that got away, the person that got away, the thing that didn't happen, the what if. So, okay, that was something. What about all this other stuff? There's 7 cups and this is just one of them. So what about the other things that are in front of you? Don't let that block the way, because it's so close to what we just saw here. It's the Devil card too. So for some of you, you are fixating on one thing that didn't happen, or one thing that may not happen, or one regret, or one question mark, or one insecurity. And with this reverse, it's about letting it go. This is about having clarity. So 7 of Cups upright is exploration. 7 of Cups reversed is being decisive, being discerning, being clear, getting out of the imbalance of the 2 of arrows, or the 2 of swords, which is like, I don't know what to do. You do know what to do. And all you have to now do is choose. I would go for this big cup in front. There's something great ready for you. Are you ready to receive it? That is gone. It literally is. It's dead and gone. So when it's a regret from the past, let it be in the past. Let it move into the ether. Now, this is mourning. So for some of you, it's difficult to release, especially if what you lost was a loved one or a job, or just something that you really, really miss. So I get it. You can honor the memory of it. So instead of mourning, if we go into, this is the flip side of a card that normally would show mourning, by the way. So the 5 of Vessels shows awake, or an ecstatic, ecstasy sort of view of it. So celebrate. If it's someone that you lost, celebrate their memory by doing something they would enjoy or approve, or celebrate you doing. So that's how you can best get over the loss of someone. Is to do their memory proud. Say, this is for you. Thank you for your help. I remember you. You were here and you made a difference. And on the other side, they're lighting up, happy that you said that. I can feel it for those of you that have like an aunt, a mom, a grandma, or somebody on the other end. So that came through for me as I'm tapping into it a little bit. For the rest of you, celebrate that you can still make it happen, whatever it is. All right, you missed one thing. This is a big world. There's a lot of minutes and hours left in today. Let's make it happen, right? So there you go. Let me see what else I want to talk about. I'm just going to talk about a couple comments here, and then we're going to wrap up because my moderators and I have to do some things. But I don't just read tarot here. Tarot is a conduit to that. So I hope you all are starting to realize that. To me, tarot is, someone said they don't believe in tarot. That would be like saying, I don't believe in the alphabet. People can use words and letters however they want. Not everyone uses them the same or interprets them the same. Hey, Apollo. And so this is a reminder here that it's all about perception. And what I try to do with all of us is to open up different ways of looking at things. He knows when I do the singing bowl that it's time to play and time to walk. So, so I would remind you just to kind of look at this from a different perspective. I read tarot, but I'm also intuitive, and so are all of you. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Those of you especially that have stuck around this long, thank you. And that's what I want you to realize, is you have the power of creation every single day of your life, right? So since I have Apollo in my lap, we're going to kind of wrap up on that note because I showed you how you could connect with me. I will say again, if you want to, I know, right? They can follow me on social media, Apollo. You can follow me on social media if you'd like to. I want to say thanks for everybody who was kind enough to give a donation, whether now or later. I need to have Apollo do this regularly. He's sniffing it out and showing us what we need to. And you can always see me on my website, right? All right, thank you everybody so much. I really feel like you have a powerful 2-month period. I read this to be like 6 to 8 months. So I'm sorry, 6 to 8 weeks. So basically March and April, from this month to the end of next, there's a lot of great opportunity coming through, transformative stuff and balance for you. So I'm wishing you all the best. Thanks again to my moderators for sticking around, and Apollo for wanting to hang out here at the end. He's really saying, Dad, let's go walk. So I'm going to listen to my little puppy, take him for a walk. And thanks all of you for showing up today. Much love and light. Have a fantastic day ahead and month ahead. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Let's see, Scorpio today, Sagittarius tomorrow, and then I'll be back again on Sunday and Monday. So my live dates are the same. It's always Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. I forgot to mention this, but I'll be doing a collective reading at the end of the month on the 28th. So please join me. Everybody's welcome then. And it's always different. I don't really try to theme it anymore. I just show up and see what needs to come through. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.